John, I want you to talk about, in one of your articles, I think this came out in October, you talked about this Pope's approach as essentially being two parts. One being the PR part, which we've seen since March, since he rose to the papacy, and more substance coming later. And he's had meetings with the Council of Cardinals. What do you think we're going to see in terms of substance?
Well, I mean, you're right. I mean, Francis has laid out repeatedly this kind of vision of reform as a two-step process. What he said is you have to get the attitudes right first, and then the structures will follow. So he's laid out a kind of set of attitudes for what the church ought to be. Now he's working on translating that into structures, and we've already seen some significant steps. I mean, he's issued a new law, for example, regarding Vatican finances, which is basically intended to continue the cleanup operation to bring the Vatican in line with 21st century standards of transparency and accountability. And he just got a clean bill of health, basically, from the Council of Europe's anti-money laundering agency, which is one indication that those reforms are taking hold. He's working on changing personnel in the Vatican. In fact, just today, he shuffled the lineup of the Vatican's all-important Congregation for Bishops, the office that has control of naming future bishops, basically moving it in a more moderate and less hardline direction. And I think we're going to see more of that. I think we're going to see a shakeup in terms of the composition of the Vatican, a kind of downsizing. He's talked about the need to promote a healthy decentralization in the church, so taking some power away from Rome and spreading it around to the local churches. So we're going to see that continue. I think ultimately, Nia, what it's all rooted in is that Francis's core spiritual value is mercy. I mean, I frankly think the best way to capture his spirit is that this is the Pope of mercy. And what he wants is when people look at the Catholic Church, he wants them to perceive a community that doesn't just pay lip service to mercy, but actually practices it in its internal life. And I think all of the details of the kind of structural reform he's engaged in right now ultimately are intended to promote that idea.